Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists, a podcast where we like to talk about Round the Twist, an 80s, 90s television show, and 2000s, I do believe, television show from Australia. And to talk about said Round the Twist show from Australia, I'm joined by my co-host, Anthony Bull.
Hello, that was a good open, Joseph.
It is
very nice.
Definitely not one of my best.
No, not really. You were like, this is what it is, and the show is what we're doing, and it's what it is, and it's in this time period, and that's what we're doing, and that's the show. Pretty much that was you.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
If you're a little bit confused, we talk about Round the Twist and other things on this podcast.
And other things in, like, parentheses, but, like, capitalize all the letters in those. Well, you capitalize parentheses. Let's not get into this conversation. That's a boring conversation, okay? You know, no one wants to have a conversation about how you capitalize parentheses. We'll do that.
Can you capitalize parentheses?
This is exactly the kind of discussion we didn't want to get into, but I don't know. I don't think so. I thought they were just circles, like half circles. You cut them in half or some shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
If we talk about this anymore, I'm going to make myself sound like an idiot because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Like, we never have any idea what we're talking about.
Today, we're joined here to talk about the 4th episode of Season 2, which is called Pink Bow Tie.
Pink Bow Tie.
Had you seen this episode before?
Never. I've never seen this episode before.
This is interesting because I've seen pretty much every episode of Round the Twist at least 3 or 4 times, but I'd never seen this episode.
Yeah, I don't remember it sticking out at all. Let's go, I just never remember it sticking out to me. Like, oh, that one. Maybe it's because it didn't involve someone's penis.
Because, yeah,
pretty much.
The episodes that you think of when you think about Round the Twist, you've seen them all a bunch of times, like the Cabbage Patch one and the peeing one and Spaghetti Pig Out. I've seen all of them at least like 5 times.
Both flying ones, the one where Bronson flies, but also the one where Linda flies, because why not, you know? This one it was nothing too far-fetched, but it was far-fetched. Like, it was far-fetched in the sense that, like, what happens in the show would be bizarre in real life, but it's not like amazingly, like, you wouldn't go to see a carnival to see it. That's a good idea. You wouldn't go to the carnival to see someone engaging in the activities that are happening in this show, but you would if you saw a flying woman or a person fly with his penis or someone could pee over a wall. That's like wow, that's amazing. This is just that's weird.
What are you talking about?
Well, the ones that stick out in people's minds are ones that generally are things that are like, I don't know how to describe them. I'm describing as you would go to a carnival or go to something because it's an oddity or a weird thing that you would want to go see. This is not something
people are
weird
magically de-aged in this episode.
Yeah, but it's like, that's a thing. Like, would you find that interesting? It'd be horrific more than anything else. Seeing someone fly, well, that's interesting. Seeing someone go from, like, an old man to a baby, or a baby to an old man, it's like, wow, what the hell? I would be messed up. I wouldn't want that shit. No.
I don't completely grasp the argument you're trying to make here.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't pay 10 cents to go see it in a carnival sideshow, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think you're in the minority.
Alright, well then, fine. Prove me wrong. Can't.
Well,
can't. Therefore, I'm right.
Well, no, that's not what that means.
See, the onus is on the person to prove me wrong.
I think the onus is on you if you're making the claim.
Well, I've already put my evidence up there.
What evidence?
I wouldn't pay 10 cents to go see it.
And you would... Alright, let's just leave this. This is going nowhere. The episode starts, always, in Round the Twist, with a teaser. A little bit of a bite, a scene to give us an idea of what's to come, but sometimes we get a scene that is actually relevant to the plot of the episode as a teaser, as in Pink Bow Tie. So today we had some people stealing from what I wrote down looked like the school, but turns out to actually be a scientific lab.
It did look like
that just looks like a classroom.
Yeah.
And the 2 criminals break into a safe and they steal a bunch of money.
Which is... in what? This is like, the money is what?
In a lab.
Yeah, in a lab, in a safe, and it's in like wadded $20 bills or something, right?
Yeah, and also...
and a scientific innovation device thingy? I don't know what you want to call it. What do you want to call it?
I don't know, an age machine?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. We'll just call it that then, alright. I was just gonna say, like, you don't know what it is at this stage, but...
A gadget?
A gadget. Or a gizmo. Any Paul Jennings fans out there? It doesn't look like Gizmo. It looks more like, a box with handles. Yeah, box with handles.
Yeah, it's a box with
wires
handles.
Coming out, and maybe like a stethoscope? Or not a stethoscope. You know those circular things that, they'll do like a little line, you can have like little line drawings on them. Oscilloscope? I don't know.
What?
I don't know. That was like the first ever game of Pong was made using them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Little paddle things.
Yeah, sort of. I guess so.
So these 2 criminals, they steal the money and they steal the gadget, and then we get the title of the episode, pink bow tie up in pink letters with the little pink bow tie. How would you feel about this on the scale of fonts?
I didn't actually see this font. I didn't actually see the title screen.
You're a font expert here on this podcast, and you didn't see the font.
Didn't see it. How was it?
Well, that's what I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Didn't see it, mate.
What is the point of having you here if you can't comment on fonts?
I really wanted to comment on why the scientists have these huge stacks of $20 notes in their safe.
What are they doing with that money?
Are they cooking crystal meth? Because the way it was shot as well, I was expecting them to steal it and then to have the Breaking Bad theme song come on.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, they might be cooking crystal meth. Why else would they have all that money there?
That's another thing. This gadget is apparently being housed in the Australian Institute of something or other.
And they just have money. They just have so much money in a safe.
CSIRO.
They've never heard of banks. The CSIRO is like, banks? What the hell is a bank? Never heard of that. We have this thing called a big pile. We put our money into the pile, and when we need to get research grants, we write a letter to Fred, and Fred brings us the money in a wheelbarrow. He just dumps it on our desk. What the fuck is a bank? Check! Never heard of a check!
Yeah.
This is the Australian government, please.
So, the Australian government is building gadgets that are extremely dangerous, leaving them in classrooms and stockpiling large amounts of cash.
Yeah.
Not exactly the most legitimate operation that I've ever heard of.
And the invention is like, you press it and you hold on to it and you become younger or you can advance your age. Why is there not a settings on it? That's such a wildly dangerous thing to have there should be in like a military installation, like, because that would be a great way to like defeat the enemy. You just basically shine a light at them and advance their age to like 80 or something. They'll surrender immediately, and then you can reverse their age once you've conquered the enemy. That'd be incredibly humane.
We'll get to the limitations and powers of the device, but in one scene, they turn these two people get turned to dust.
I know. I was like, it's at the end of this story, but they're holding on to it and they get advanced age. And all I could remember was that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Last Crusade, where like the guy chose poorly and grabbed the wrong glass. Yeah. And he's holding on to the chick, and it's advanced age and turns to dust, and it was really creepy as a child. It wasn't as creepy in this one, but, it's still, the ramifications of it are very, very creepy. It's like the guy just died.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the story.
The actual episode starts off, and we've got the lighthouse, and I've written down here, it sounded like 80s sitcom music. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Like a music cue to start the episode. I was like, what's going on here? And we get the two ghosts on the roof. We have no idea who they are. These two ghosts that show up for about 30 seconds every episode. And they're saying that something smells like it's dead.
Yeah.
And we cut immediately to Bronson, who's taking off his shoes. Yeah. Now, Bronson in season 1 had kind of a thing where he was smelly, but they're really pushing it in this season.
Massive foreshadowing.
That his feet smell like rotting flesh.
Yeah. It's massive foreshadowing for an episode in season 2.
Which episode?
I think it's called Smelly Feet, or something like that. It's like Stinky Feet. Like,
what happens in said episode?
Bronson has smelly feet, obviously. Obviously it's a reason, like, that, but it's a lot of foreshadowing, like, lots of it. Like, the whole season 2, this whole thing's about, he's got smelly feet, You only have to mention it, like, once or twice. So, we haven't seen the episode yet, but if it's not a big deal that he has smelly feet, I'd be like, why did they spend half the season developing this whole, hey, Bronson's got smelly feet, unless that has something to do with whatever this season is about.
Yeah, what are they setting
I don't know, it enacts, like, opens a wormhole to hell or something. And they have to fight demons.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Or angels, you never know. I don't know.
I know definitely in season 3 and 4 there was a big thing about Bronson and smelly things, but I think there was more of an emphasis on him being a disgusting person rather than just having really smelly feet. In particular.
Yeah.
Tony is very angry at Bronson's smelly feet. And he's saying, that's disgusting.
He enters the room. Oh, it smells like death. Oh, it stinks in here. Oh, yeah. And then he goes and he sniffs near Bronson's feet and he realizes it's Bronson's feet. And he tells him to go clean his feet, wash them. But of course, I'm sorry, but he's unaware that that's not how you get rid of foot odor. You get rid of foot odor.
How do you get rid of foot odor?
Use a little product called ActiFresh.
Okay. Tell me about ActiFresh. Are you sponsored to tell me about ActiFresh? Is that why you're telling me about ActiFresh?
A couple of years ago I would have been, because I was actually worked with bringing that into the country, but it was basically like a foot odor product we launched.
Is this something that we can put in the finished episode of the podcast, or have to cut this out for
why?
Fraudulent reasons?
Why would they? They're in the UK right now. Fucking, they're not going to notice. Screw them. Huh? Ha 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 ha. No, but it's like, I don't know, just wanted to bring that up, that I did I had a foot odor product.
Are you proud of the fact that you worked for a foot odor product?
I liked it. I liked the foot odor product. It was pretty good, actually.
Okay, thank you for your input. As Tony's leaving the room, he looks in the mirror and he starts playing with his own hair. And he goes, Faye likes to run her fingers through my hair, you know. And he says that to his son.
How weird is that? He sniffs Bronson's feet, then he looks at a mirror, plays with his hair, and then goes, Faye likes to put her hands through my hair, you know. There was no lead in, there was no examination, there was no break. It was basically 5 seconds after saying, gross, you need to wash your feet. He looks at his hair, and then goes, oh, Faye likes to play with my hair. To your youngest son. Who's 7. Too much TMI, you know? I don't need to know that stuff, and I don't want to know that stuff. What the fuck? You know, that's not stuff you tell your children.
Especially because Bronson apparently does not like the fact that he is getting married to Faye.
Exactly.
And Bronson replies to the fact that Faye likes to run her fingers through his hair and says, what's left of it? Oh, you sassy 7-year-old.
Yes. That'll be you one day, though. Yeah, that's right. Make fun of your dad if he's balding. Guess what? Boom. You're gonna bald too. Maybe. Unless it skips a generation. But it won't. You're gonna go bald. Because we know that you come back in time. So, later on, as a fat, balding, middle-aged man with who's recently divorced. We know this.
And with suicidal and homicidal tendencies
of the wedding ring tan line. Remember, I made a big deal about that.
Yes. We see that in episode 14 of season 1.
Yes.
Tony does the same in Linda's room. He goes in and speaks to her and tells her that they need to leave for school in 5 minutes, but then begins to ask her if he's going bald. And she replies, no, I think you're just receding, and I think you've got lots of dandruff.
I think receding, though, is kind of going bald, right?
Well, I would like to think of it as just receding, since I have a receding hairline.
I never realised that until, I looked up there. I guess I have sort of one, too, but it's
not
prominent.
What you have is going bald.
Yeah, whatever. But, the best part is at least you're going bald it's the front baldness. It's not a back, baldness. Remember that guy we used to know a guy in high school who had a, balding and he balded right at the crown?
Yes.
Yeah, and was by at least by late high school, his hair looked like it was completely gone.
He was a couple of years older than us, to be fair, which isn't a lot.
Yeah.
When you're an adolescent.
But still, it's it's better, I'd reckon it'd be better than that than having a receding hairline. I don't know, whatever. Just embrace your oldness. You know, you're getting old. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one thing to be comfortable with your baldness, I guess.
Yeah.
But Tony's having a hard time about this, and he says, do you think I'm too old for Faye? Now, how old do you think that Tony is, and how old do you think Faye is?
I don't know, Tony's probably maybe, I don't even know, late 30s? Or mid, he doesn't look that old. He doesn't look that old. Maybe late 30s, is what he's supposed to be, or early 40s is what he's supposed to be, but he doesn't look that old. And Faye, mid 30s to late 30s. They look around about the same age. Oh, am I getting too old for Faye? I'm you're about the same age. So unless she's incredibly, shallow, and it's I only date men who are younger than me because...
Which she clearly doesn't.
She clearly doesn't. She's never made that intention. That being said, though, that's a bit hard, because, if you only date people who are younger than you, how's that any different than, not you only date them, you prefer that. How's that any different than you prefer people who are brunette or blonde or something? People take a lot of flack for that, but there's some people out there who like people who are only older, way older. Then whatever, you know? So sorry, Faye, in the mythical universe, for calling you shallow.
Yeah.
Even though you are.
Okay. But
no.
I don't think she is.
I'm playing.
Linda says, not to worry, Dad. Some women go for men who look like their grandfathers.
It's a weird thing to say from, Fiona. There's a Fiona, not Fiona, Linda, sorry. What the heck? Okay, so I wrote down here, one, Freud, obviously. There's Freud would have something to say about that.
Is Linda attracted to her grandfather?
Yeah, is that, probably. Freud would say that apparently he's supposed to go off and marry your own mother or something.
Yeah, Oedipus thing.
Oedipus
syndrome.
Second is, what the hell do you know about what women want? I'm not saying that you may not know, but you're 14 or 13? What the hell would you know what a woman in her 30s would prefer? How would you know these things? What romantic endeavors have you ever been on other than Pete Townsend, right? Bloody Pete Townsend. Oh, man, he sure is older. He looks like your grandfather, doesn't he?
Hugh Townsend.
Sorry, but Pete Townsend would look like her grandfather, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be weird.
I'm dating Pete Townsend, lead guitarist of The Who, which is all
And
right.
to be fair, I'm not entirely sure that this Linda is the same character as the previous Linda. Yeah. So did she have the romantic entanglement with Hugh Townsend?
No.
Or was that only in an alternate reality?
That's only in an alternate reality.
Yeah, make fun of my pronunciation. Yeah.
This guy
Tony,
doing it for show.
Tony leaves Linda's room and goes into Pete's room and says, "Do you think I've got too much dandruff?" And he says, "No, I just think you're going bald." And the camera turns around and we see that Pete has Dragon Ball Z hair.
Yeah, he does.
For
He's got
some
hair
reason.
like Super Saiyan.
His hair's all spiky up.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, like, when you see it first, you think, oh, maybe he's just trying to be a punk. Like, he's choosing to be a rebellious punk. Which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't really know.
Kids,
eh? Like, and the weird thing is, like, why doesn't Tony is very aware, obviously, that his hair won't stick down or anything along those lines. Why doesn't Tony then just write a note saying, look, my child has hair like this. We can't get it stuck down. I'm very aware of it, blah, 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 blah. And then sign that. Because then, like, later on, the principal can't really do much. He might give him attention, but anything further, then you'd get in trouble by the parents saying, why'd you suspend my child? You know, we can't deal with this issue right now. You know, there's a valid reason. He's not just being a punk. You know, we can't control it.
Yes.
I'll sue you for, whatever. Fucking sexual harassment.
How is that constituted as sexual harassment?
I don't know, they'll find a way. They always do.
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
The kids get in the car, the radio's playing, and it says that a special gadget has been stolen from the government. Yes. CSIRO. They can't keep control of their stuff. Linda and Bronson think that Pete's hair looks stupid, but Pete replies that he can't do anything about it. He's tried everything, even plaster of Paris.
There you go. Okay, well, there you go. That's, that would be insane to put in your hair, right? You're like putting plaster of Paris in your hair. How would you not rip your hair off?
Well, because
we've used plaster of Paris before.
Have we?
Yeah, remember we did in drama in high school. Right?
Yes.
And we did mime and we made our own masks.
Yep.
And you got that shit anywhere on your eyebrows. It'd be you try to pull it off and you rip off your eyebrow, right?
Did you rip off your eyebrow?
I did not, but you know, I still got parts of my hair cut in it and it hurt. So you get all of your hair in plaster of Paris? Come on, mate. You're gonna pull your it'd be like scalping, like what Native Indians do, except more painful because at least they used a blunt knife and you're just using plaster of Paris.
Yeah, we did that thing in school when we were making those masks. You had to put it all over your face because you were making a mold.
But you had to put
over your face.
And you had or something,
and you had the thing over your face,
and you had a cap as well.
And and you'd lie there on the ground while your friends made the mask on your face, and you were fighting every time to be the person that is standing there when the mask comes off, so you could say, "Welcome to the real world."
I remember that.
Because I was one of the last to get mine done in our group. Yeah. And one of the other girls in our group, she's like taking it off, and then you suddenly come over and like try and push her out of the way, and she's like, "Go away, and you're like, no, I want to do it. And she's like, "You just want to say welcome to the real world," and then you're like, "Welcome to the real world."
Yes, I like that.
Faye arrives at the car at the school when the kids get out, and Bronson stays in the car because plot.
Yeah.
Because they go to the same school, right?
Yeah, they do.
So why has he not got out of the car yet?
And maybe he wants a hug from Dad or something, I don't know.
Faye comes over and says, "Lovely day, isn't it?" And Bronson, who can only be described as a rude word, says, "No, it's not."
Yeah.
Like, what a horrible thing to say to your future mother-in-law.
You know, what he should have said was, it was...
Stepmother.
It was, until you got here, or it was till just very recently. And looked at her, like, sternly in the face and then walked out. That would have been way cooler.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, drop the mic. Because she would have been like, what? Anyway, so Tony is then like, don't worry, he'll come around eventually. And then he makes some metaphor about how his love is like a water bottle.
Well, not like a water in a bottle.
It's not like water in a bottle, because water in a bottle runs out, whereas his love keeps going on, I guess. Maybe he stole this from some sort of church or something. I don't know. Surely, like one of those youth pastors who go around saying, you know, your love can water bottle. I don't know. Whatever.
What kind of church is he stealing this from?
I don't know. One of those, like, cool, hip youth pastor churches who say, man, you know, love, it's kind of like a water in a bottle. Sometimes you pour it out, but you just don't have any left. But God's love, it's never ending, like this hose. And they pull out a hose and they'll, like, pour it on something. I don't know. You know, they've got, like, weird metaphors and stuff they use. Yeah, something like that. Right?
So the analogy that Tony is trying to make is that his water is not like water in a bottle. You don't just pour it out and then it's empty.
Which I like how it was a throwback, unintentional probably.
To what?
To the last week's episode.
What? How?
Water in a bottle. He was just attacked violently by water, but also water in the bottle in the house. You know? So it's like his love isn't like that water bottle. It's more like the water spirit that tries to kill Bronson. So that's what he's really saying. He's really saying that his love for Bronson will end up killing him.
Well, that is a delightful thought. Gribble and his bros have spikes as well, and for some reason that they're friends with Pete in this episode. I guess they're bonded by the fact that the hair is all spiky.
Well, they're in trouble. They might be in trouble, so they need to get their story straight. So they're in a gang, basically. So they have to organize a decent story together. So that's why they're probably friends. You know, how are we all going to get out of this? And of course, we all know what's going to happen. Like, they're just going to blame Twist. Yeah. Because why wouldn't you? Like, duh.
There's something interesting here just about the scene, well, about the episode in general. Gribble, Tiger, and Pete all have longer hair, and so their hair looks ridiculous, spiked up, like a Dragon Ball Z character, as we were saying. But the guy who plays Rabbit has very short hair, so you can't even really tell that his hair is spiky.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even look ridiculous at all. It just looks like his normal hair.
Rabbit, like, they could have done something like that. Like, Rabbit could have been, like, walking past them or something, with his gelled up hair, and the principal could have just been like, you just get the gel out of your hair because it's not too ridiculous, and then he would have sent back to class, or Tiger would have been like, mate, you're not going to leave us. Sorry, mate. Yuck, 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 and just runs away because it's funny, I guess. I don't know. But no, he's in trouble because he's got short hair and it looks like it's been spiked like they're friends, but even though it's
so short, you can't even really tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Spiky.
And that's the thing. Why don't they shave their heads?
Well, I don't know. Plot.
Yeah.
They're worried that somebody called Splodge is going to get angry at them. Now, I thought they were just making some sort of reference to Snapper that I didn't immediately get.
Yeah.
Because up till this point, the only staff at the school that we're aware of are Snapper and Faye.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a small school, right?
Well, it makes sense that Snapper is the only other teacher because you don't have to pay another person. Because he's also, as you found out, a director of many of the episodes and a writer of a lot of the episodes as well. So, I mean, I'm assuming that he doesn't get paid for the acting gig. I'm assuming it's all one salary.
Well, yeah, I think you get paid for each one.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know.
It probably wouldn't be, sure. But it probably wouldn't cost as much to get him to be the actor.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about from Round the Twist production perspective or from the school?
From the Round the Twist production perspective.
Okay.
You know, because he only appears in bit parts most of the time, so it wouldn't cost you that much than hiring a new actor.
Okay.
To have to do it.
Because Snapper is in this episode.
He is.
It's weird. So Splodge shows up and says, "What's going on with your hair? What's going on, hair?"
Oh.
Get it?
It's a pun.
Yeah. He goes, "Come this way into my office and I'll sort you out." So apparently there's a school office. I just assumed this was a really small school, but there's this big structure that's a school office. There's a woman that works here called Glenda.
Yeah, and
who we've never heard of before either.
I guess.
Just some sort of school staff
that makes sense though.
If
you're gonna have a principal, you kind of need a secretary.
Yes.
Like otherwise it's like come into my office and the boys won't have a chance to plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
She does exactly what she's not supposed to do in this role, and says, "You boys should choose a spokesperson and get your story straight." And they say, "Oh, well, what's a spokesperson?" That's someone who gets all the blame. Mm-hmm. So, who did the Gribbles choose?
Well, yeah, just take a guess. I'll give you 3 guesses. You won't need any of them.
Was it Gribble? Was it Rabbit?
No.
Was it Tiger?
No. It failed on all 3.
Was it Bronson?
Yes. I wish.
No, it was Pete Twist. Pete Twist explains to Splodge, whatever his name is. He goes, "Okay, this is the story. I'm gonna now tell you a story of what happened."
Yeah.
So we were on the bus from Interschool Sports, and we were going on the ferry.
Oh, okay, so I get what that was, yeah. They're going back to...
This is what I don't understand, right? Port Noranda is on the coast.
Yeah.
Where were they going on a ferry?
I don't know.
Were they going to an island to have inter-school sports there?
You don't have to necessarily go to an island. There's like, there are ferries that go between locations. Like,
is Port Noranda on an island? Is that why they had to catch a ferry?
I don't think so.
I thought it was on the mainland.
Yeah, well, you can have a ferry between 2 mainland points.
Can you?
Yeah, we have them there's the Mogul ferry.
Yeah, but that's over a river.
Yeah, it's over a river, but there's also, another river as well. I mean, sure, it's a coastline, but it might be, easier for some reason. It might have been really hard to do a highway because of a mountainous pass or something. So it's just simpler doing a ferry than if it were to do, try to do a highway. Because otherwise you'd have to go around the mountain, which would take, 3 hours.
Yes.
Or you'd have to go through it with a tunnel, which we in Australia, we don't like tunnels.
Yes.
Except in Brisbane, we love tunnels in Brisbane. That's a joke. about all the toll
yeah,
tunnels.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, just so you know. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Yeah, I do know.
Good.
Thank you.
So the ferry is probably a little bit faster. I mean, I don't know. I don't run ferries.
Well, I just feels like this ferry has been put in. It's like, oh, look, it's a ferry. It's an enclosed space because plot.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because we've never heard them mention ferries before.
Never. Well, they needed to get them onto a boat for some reason. Like, they could have had, like, a boat, right?
Yeah.
Where the boat was just, they were going on a, some sort of school event, even. Like, that you've had those before. Probably like a paddle steamer or something. Because whatever reasons. Maybe some sort of inter-school or grade 9 and grade 10 classy dealio thingy-mabobby. And then that's why they're on the boat. It would make more sense than they had to catch a ferry.
Now, we see that Gribble apparently wants to privatise the ferry because he's progressive, conservative.
He's a liberal, I guess is the best way to say it.
The music here is like an 80s sitcom again. It's like do-do-do-do-do. So Gribble is with some old people who we weren't sure immediately who they were, but it turns out that they're Gribble's parents.
Yeah. And
they're going to take them to a cheaper retirement home, because the one that they're in is apparently too expensive at the moment.
I guess so.
So that's a thing.
Yeah, it is. They're like, hey, Gribble's parents. No, not Gribble's parents, it's Matron's parents. They're
Gribble's parents.
They're matrons, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure they're Gribbles, because it's something we see later.
Well, I'd like to say, though, I thought it was like, well, that's a bit of a rude thing to do.
They could be both.
But, that'd be weird, too.
Yeah.
Very weird. But I was thinking to myself that, if they are Gribble's parents, then maybe that's why Gribble is... Maybe he was raised by a selfish guy, the self-seeking person, and it's like, hey, maybe you should have planned for your retirement if you were so selfish.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
So, spoilers here. The reason I think that they're Gribble's parents is because later in the episode, when the age machine is used on grandparents...
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The grandfather looks like Gribble. Mr. Gribble.
It does. That makes sense, actually. Yeah, that does actually make a lot of sense. Yeah. He goes, Dad? Like, younger Gribble, and then he goes even younger later on.
We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
So the robbers arrive, the robbers from the beginning.
Yeah.
And they jump on the ferry, and police arrive just as the ferry is leaving, because the robbers did the, Starsky and Hutch thing where they jump the gap and land on the boat, and the police are like, oh no, we'll get them on the other side.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Literally, a ferry is the worst thing you can do. A boat? No worries, okay? But a ferry goes between two destinations. If you're leaving one destination, you know exactly where they're going to go. Unless they steal a lifeboat, in which case, I don't think they would do that anyway, because you would be very easy to find them.
Yes.
In a bloody rowboat somewhere.
The whole boat thing is very interesting, because it's a confined space. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So the robbers hit the deck, and they've hit their heads or something, and one of them gets up. And he looks at the other one, and he's like, oh, see you later, mate, because the other one hasn't come to straight away. He's been knocked out. Where is he going? Where is he going to escape from his mate?
You know what he should have done in that situation? He should have,
Chuck his mate in the ocean.
Exactly, should have rolled his mate in the ocean.
And kill him.
Well, like,
in cold blood.
He's a thief, let's say.
Yes.
And they also sort of stole from each other, and the guy was perfectly happy taking the money and the gizmo, so he didn't really care that much.
Yeah.
So just roll him in the ocean. Solve all your problems. Sharks will eat him and stuff, and then you turn into a child with the age machine, you steal his clothes. Oh, look, I'm a child. I'm going to school. Joke's on you, I'm not really. And then turn into an adult.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
That would be my escape plan.
Snapper's lecturing his class on seasickness.
Seasickness.
Sickness.
Yes.
It's difficult to say. Leave me alone.
It is.
And as he's getting sick because the Gribble and his mates, the normal child Gribble, they're being douches.
Yeah, they are.
They do this thing where they sway to and fro in unison to try and make somebody sick.
Yeah.
And they do it repeatedly throughout this episode. Does this work?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. But I think I get seasick. I get, air sick now, when I'm in a plane, but I don't think that would ever work. I feel like you would make yourself sick if you swayed from side to side.
Probably.
And
especially if you're in unison with your mates.
Ginger tablets, too. Those work a treat.
Okay.
To be honest. Yeah, ginger. It's great.
Tony is here.
Have you ever had seasickness?
I don't think so. So they're doing this thing to Snapper, and then they make him so sick that he vomits off the side of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you do, I guess. You throw up on the side of the boat.
Yeah. Is there no bag that he can use to vomit into?
What's the point? The ocean's your toilet,
Yeah, but then you get it on the side of the boat and it gets all gross.
They have to clean it off anyway.
I guess.
Who cares? Besides, it's not your boat. For It's not your boat. It's like Ferry's boat. They didn't want people to throw up on their boat. They shouldn't have had a boat. It should have been a car, alright? But clearly they understood that someone would throw up. So it's really like their fault.
The class sees you vomit though. Do you want to vomit in front of your class?
Teaches them about seasickness.
I guess. Yeah. Gets forward that point.
And besides, if your teacher throws up, then it's okay for you to throw up and be seasick. So you don't have to feel like you have to rush to the toilet to try to throw up in secrecy, and then you actually throw up on the toilet seat because you missed in time or some shit, and then you're too lazy to clean it up because you're that kind of person, and then someone walks in, and then there's puke all over the toilet seat.
Pete's here on the boat, and he's with his dad, who is on the boat for some reason, and the robber walks past, the one that's woken up, and Pete follows him, and Tony says, "Where are you going, Pete?" Great scene. Yep. Gribble apparently used to be a sergeant in the Navy.
Yeah.
And brags to a sailor
he said
that he used to be so.
I was a sergeant, but I looked it up.
There's no sergeants in the Navy.
There's no
Did you really have to look that up?
Of course. Like, there's sergeants in the Air Force.
Yeah, but it's the Navy.
Yeah, so what?
They don't have sergeants in the Navy.
I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know if there was a rank called sergeant.
You're as bad as Gribble.
Well, I'm not in the armed forces. Are you in the armed forces?
No, but I know that there's no sergeants in the Navy.
Well, there's lieutenants in the Navy.
I don't know. I don't know that there's definitely no. I don't know there's definitely no sergeant.
You don't know if there's a sergeant in the Navy. I'll ask you if you've got fucking lieutenants in the Navy.
Is there lieutenants?
I don't think so.
Well, in Australia, apparently we don't even have lieutenants, right? We have lieutenants.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I think.
I don't know. And also in the Navy is also weird too, because how the rankings are all different. Like captain's lower in Army and Air Force, but in the Navy, that's
pretty high.
It's pretty high. It's like what's next is like Admiral and stuff. Or Commander, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, so Pete's following this robber around, and a different robber, the second robber has woken up.
Yeah.
And he harasses Fiona. Where is the big bloke? Where is the big bloke?
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
It is very weird.
Are they, having some sort of grinder hookup here?
What, Fiona?
No. He's like, where is the big bloke?
He said it was here, I could see it on my app. It's really weird that he's manhandling that child.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and no one has a problem with this either, by the way. Throughout the entire episode, these thieves basically manhandle the children, leading them around, and no one's like, oh, who's that weird person that I've never seen before, leading around a child from the high school? Oh, it's nobody. That's okay, you won't attack or molest them or kill them. You know, what the hell's wrong with you people?
So Pete's stalking this robber. Yes. The original robber, the big bloke, and he follows him under the boat. And so the robber goes into this room, closes the door, and lights flash underneath the gap in the door. And apparently, he's become young. So he opens the door, and he's a young person now. He's the same age as Pete, conveniently.
And he tells Pete to give him his clothes.
Yep, and threatens to beat him up.
It's fair enough. Wish you could do that.
The Gribble kids are still being little proverbial S's. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it now to the Gribble's father.
Yeah.
Because they can. And he then becomes sick. While the old people, Gribble's grandparents, the young Gribble's grandparents, the Senator Gribble's parents, it becomes confusing when you refer to both of them by the same name.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't want to go to the retirement village. They really don't want to go. They don't think that they're that old.
Yeah, makes sense.
Then we see the small robber, and he's looking for the big one still.
Yeah.
Now we see the Gribble kids again.
Doing the sway
and they're doing the sway thing to his mum.
To Matron.
They're really pushing this seasickness thing, even though it's a subplot that goes nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Tony shows up, and he knows this special trick.
Easy. He's got the ins and outs of sea trickery.
I know the old seasickness sway trick.
I know how to fix that. And I will sway and make you seasick, but you're swaying as well.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't that either A, make them both sick, or B, wouldn't that just sort of cancel each other out and reach like an equilibrium where like they're steady because...
It's like a collision of power. Everyone will be sick. Just people just vomiting everywhere.
Or there'll be stability, like they equal each other out.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work that way because the Gribble kids then vomit. Yeah. So they get a taste of their own medicine. Thank you, Paul Jennings.
Good on you, Tony, showing the young kids not to make other people sick by swaying backwards and forth. Good on you.
Pete wakes up in his undies.
Of course he does.
Something horrific has happened to him. His clothes have been stolen.
Yep.
Snapper doesn't recognize the young robber who's shown up, but he thinks he's part of his class.
That makes sense.
So why would Snapper think that somebody he's never seen before is in his class?
Because he's wearing the school uniform.
Yeah, but it's such a small school, right?
Yeah, but like, it's like inter-school sports thing. I'm assuming that most of it's his class. maybe he just isn't aware. Like, I'm sure there are students that you don't remember at all. If you couldn't name their face if you're a student. If you're a teacher, if you're like sort of a subby, right?
Yeah, but it's Snapper. He's the only one. And surely he would have been checking a roll. They're on an excursion. He's got to make sure that kids don't go missing.
He's already checked the roll.
Yeah, but...
He's all checked the roll?
Yeah, he's done that. He's done the roll probably twice or 3 times today.
Yeah.
They're on the boat, and some guy shows up wearing the school uniform he's never seen before, and he's like, tuck your shirt in. Not, who are you? And what are you doing here?
I don't know. Check the roll when you're done. Maybe he's got Snapper things to do. Maybe he's sick. He's got to throw up, you know? It's like, he doesn't feel like doing that shit. He's like, I just want to sit down and drink iced tea. I don't know. Whatever, man.
Pete started to put on the clothes of the robber that stole his clothes, and the other robber shows up and thinks that Pete is the big bloke.
Even though they don't look the same, which is...
Well, he's younger. Maybe he doesn't know what the guy looked like when he was younger.
Fair enough.
And he says, I know it's you. Come with me. We need to get the money. Where is the money? Show me where the money is. And Pete says, I can't go without my pants. Bit of a throwback there to a better episode.
I don't know. I think this episode was pretty good.
Snapper demands that Pete get his uniform on when he sees Pete trying to show the robber around.
Yeah.
And Pete is like, oh, okay.
Oops. Yeah, maybe.
I'm just being accosted by an older gentleman.
No worries. Snapper's like,
save me.
Snapper doesn't try to save him. And 2, that's like, he doesn't reprimand Pete for not immediately apologizing and going ahead and doing that. Like, my teacher would normally just go, excuse me, I told you to go put on your clothes, blah, 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 blah. I'm a mean teacher, rah, rah, rah. That's what a teacher would do. It wouldn't be like, oh, no worries, just, go off with that, who is that man? Is he your uncle? I don't know. Is he on the manifesto? Who knows?
Is he going to molest you?
Probably.
James is in charge of looking after his grandparents.
Yes.
But sees the first robber with Pete's bag.
Which has Pete for Fiona on it.
Yes.
So I find very interesting.
Pete is still in love with Fiona. He's written it all over his bag. He's declaring it to the world. He wants everybody to know.
He's very open about it. He must be very open about it. Yes.
Well, are they dating in this season?
I don't know. It might be a bit weird then, because then, like, now you're talking about whether or not Pete was a stalker, or maybe this is the shades of his stalkerness back.
Pete is a stalker?
Yeah.
Well, that was a different Pete, though, wasn't it? The stalker Pete?
I don't know, maybe Nell's fantasy intensified and made him more of a stalker.
Nell's fantasy of what? Oh,
yeah, fantasy group. Yeah, well,
I thought you were going to say that she fantasizes about stalking.
Well, maybe she does.
Maybe she does. Who are we to judge?
Who am I to judge? Maybe she fantasizes about that. Whatever. As long as she doesn't stalk people, it's not my job. Libertarian and all that. Yo.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Not my responsibility.
The Gribbles then begin to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand. There's some sort of disagreement over Pete's bag. They want Pete's bag.
Yeah.
I don't really get it. They fight him, and we see, as the struggle happens, that there's money in the bag.
There is.
So they want the bag really bad now. Because they want all the money.
They want all that money in the bag. Fair enough. That's a solid enough reason.
Yes.
Why not?
The second robber who has Pete is dragging him around.
Yes.
And he can't find the robber. And they look into this room where all the girls are sitting, and they say, is this one of him? And Pete says, well, I don't know. Can the machine do a sex change? I don't know. He doesn't know.
He doesn't
Maybe.
know. He says he doesn't think so, but...
If you were a younger gender when you were younger...
it's actually weird. Like, if you were transgender, would you go back to having your original thing, or would your body just be morphed down? Because, like, the hairstyles change of the people as they get older and younger. So, like, if you're transgender, transsexual, whatever, as a child, you're a boy, you become a girl, and you're 40. Would you start growing back things and start, losing others, or would you just sort of turn down to a smaller version of a girl? Because I assume you'd go back to a boy.
I have no idea, and I would rather not get into that discussion.
Whatever, I don't know.
Linda notices that Pete's being dragged around by an older gentleman who is roughly accosting him and doesn't care.
She doesn't care. She's just like,
Nobody seems to care.
Yep, because she's a
These
bitch.
people are terrible.
Yep.
There's horrible things happening on this boat and nobody cares.
Nobody, it's a good thing we didn't see Tony, right? But I think Tony...
Tony would care, right?
I hope so. I hope he wouldn't be like, I see you made a new friend, Pete. Ha, that's alright. You can have fun. Because Faye's not on the boat, right? Faye's not on the boat?
No.
Faye's not on the boat. Then okay, he would care. Otherwise, he'd just be like, no, you go have fun with your older friend, Pete. That's okay. I'm just going to talk to Faye.
Yes.
Describes bad parenting, though, so...
Yes. Gribble and his mates are chasing the robber around, and they're trying to get the bag, and Pete and the other robber arrive. So now they're kind of on the part where you put your cars.
Yes.
You know, the big area,
the
storage
bottom part.
Storage area on the ferry. If you've ever been on a ferry before, you might know what we're talking about. If not, then use your imagination for once, ferries. You lazy F.
Yeah, you're calling our listeners F'ers. That's ridiculous. They're not F'ers, they're beautiful, sexy people. Every one of them.
The young robber tries to grab the machine off the other robber.
Yeah.
And it activates. And it shoots the big guy to the normal age.
Yeah. You mean the child to the normal age?
The
child robber.
The big robber, the one that was... it would be easier if I knew their names.
Yeah, if they had actual
names.
No, I don't think they had names.
One I think was referred to as Growler.
Oh,
we'll just give them normal names.
George.
Call them Barry or Robbo.
Bob, Barry and Robbo, but then we gotta describe which one's Barry and Robbo now. Robbo number one.
Let's just call them Big
Robbo.
Guy and Little Guy.
Yeah, okay. Big guy became a big guy, and then little guy became a little guy?
Yeah, well, no. The big guy just becomes the big guy again.
Yep, he becomes
and the
normal size.
The little guy stays normal size.
Yes.
So the other robber, he's attacking the machine, and then they're fighting over it, and they activate it again.
Yeah.
And they both turn really, really small to 5 years old.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Gribble's grandparents are watching, and they're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And the little 5-year-old robbers are beating each other up.
And then they run away. And it's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
They run away because they're fighting over the money.
Yeah.
And Pete and his mates, they follow. And then Gribble's grandparents are like, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
So they take the machine and they activate it and they turn themselves into... What age would you say that they turn themselves into?
I think I put down like mid-30s or something. Yeah, mid-30s.
And the Gribble, the young Gribble goes, that's my dad, as they're turning younger, because he resembles big Senator Gribble.
Senator Gribble, yeah, so old
man
Too many
Gribble. Gribbles.
Too many Gribbles. Yeah, that's even older than... You've made that joke before.
I have.
On this podcast. And it was old then.
Yeah. Older now.
But it's retro now, so it's okay.
Is it retro now? How old is a joke before it becomes retro?
Oh, I don't know. Gangnam Style.
Is that retro now?
Probably. If you played Gangnam Style, if you get Gangnam Style on your phone, people wouldn't think, oh gosh, how could you have that song on your phone? It's so old. People would go, oh wow, that's such an old throwback to the shitty music we had 2011, whenever, I don't know. Who cares? Gangnam Style.
Is Rebecca Black's Friday old enough to be cool again?
I don't think it was cool in the first place.
It was always cool.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure, why not? Like, it's because I think it's got some more to do with, like, the lack of airplay and how, like, any song that was, like, a big hit that was sort of dumb, dumb, can become, like, a cool or ironic retro hit.
Yes.
A year or so after it stops receiving a lot of play. Like, I haven't heard Gangnam Style in ages. So if you heard it bouncing out of someone's phone because they got a phone call, you would think, that guy is a bit of it seems like a douchebag, but you wouldn't think, geez, he's a, what do you call those people? Follow the public.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Crowd.
Sheep man.
Bandwagon joining person. It would just be, I'm picking it because now it's retro. You would know that.
I'm an individual.
And I'm okay, or something like that.
The kids, they run away, and Gribble's grandparents get the money.
Yes.
Somehow.
Well,
they grab it.
That's good.
Because there's so much fighting going on.
Although they need to turn that over as evidence.
I guess.
Like, that's...
Depends if the note numbers are recorded, which they probably weren't because they didn't steal it from a bank. They stole it from a CSIRO lab. Yeah, well, yeah.
Crime is what? So, like,
who's going to catch them, though?
Tampering with evidence.
Yeah.
So, like, the cops will catch them.
Stealing it.
Is this everything in the bag, they'll say? And you'll say, yes, this was everything in the bag. No worries.
Linda...
We use you as a wet witness. Yes, and they'll go in front of a court, testify, and they'll end up in prison for perjury as well.
Yeah. We get this weird scene here.
Yeah.
Where Linda and Tony are talking about age.
Yeah.
But this is taking place, what we're seeing now is taking place the day before the start of the episode took place.
Yes.
So the start of the episode where they're talking about age actually takes place after that, but they're kind of referring to a conversation that they've already had.
They are. It's very meta.
It's very bad writing. The Gribbles, the Mr. and Mr. Gribble.
Well, I mean, like, sorry, yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, this whole episode deals with the tragedy of being human, doesn't it?
More age.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I think I wrote down something along the lines of, Nietzsche's eternal recurrence.
What's that?
It's the idea that, like, you seem a true detective.
Yes.
Like, time is a flat circle.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of thing. So the idea being that, if that the universe is just an uncaring thing that's unrelated to your own existence. This is me butchering the whole thing. But basically,
yes.
It's like...
Go on.
It's like this thought experiment put through that. Like, if a demon appeared to you and said that you could live that he was going to curse you with having to relive your life over and over again. Every experience over and over again. Okay? You'd live, you'd die over and over again. How would you feel about that situation?
Am I aware of that I've lived it out
I literally have no idea that. I'm not sure about that one.
That would be a big determining factor.
I assume it would be too. It'd be a boring thing. But I think the Ubermensch is supposed to be able to rise above this need to not want to relive all the past negative experience and only the positive experience. The Ubermensch would take life as it comes. Because the idea is that we reflect on the positive elements of life.
Okay.
Because we believe that the universe has some sort of morality when there is no morality in the universe.
Okay.
And that was his idea.
Excellent. Thank you.
So
Nietzsche.
if you took that the opportunity to become young again, would you be doing it just for the positive reasons, or would you just not care?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who cares?
The Gribbles, they can't find their parents because they are escaping. They're escaping from the retirement home. They're going to live out their lives as mid-30-year-old people with lots of money.
Yeah, that's
some sort of criminal. They'll probably move to Mexico.
Yeah, I guess so. Or they'll
start a beach shack.
Yeah, live in Australia, and they'll be like, "Hey, I want to buy a house. Can I pay for it with fat stacks of cash?" And the real estate agent will go, "No, you cannot. In fact, I'd like to know where you got those fat stacks of cash from, because you don't want to do that, right? I ain't got to get involved with that shit."
The little robbers have the machine again, and they activate it, and then they both turn normal, but they're still fighting. So they get older and older and older until they turn to dust.
Yes.
And this creates a crazy magic occurrence, right?
Yeah.
That makes the hair on the Gribbles and Twist, their hair go spiky because they're watching.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like that idea that like when your hair can turn grey. If you see something really shocking, you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but instead of being grey, because it'd just be dumb, they make it shocking because it needs to fit in with one of the stories that Paul Jennings wrote.
Yes. So that's the end of their story that they're telling to Spludge.
Splooge.
Whatever his name is. Split.
Yeah.
Splood.
Whatever.
Spliff. He's pretty angry, and because he thinks he's made it up, which it sounds like they have.
Yeah, it does.
Who would believe that?
Terrible story.
Rabbit's hair isn't even spiky.
Yep.
I mentioned that. Probably cut it out. Rabbit's hair isn't even spiky. I just said that again.
You did.
Because I'm stuck in a loop.
You're stuck in a loop, kind of like this episode, Yeah.
You
have to go back and relive your life.
Pete decides to prove Splooge wrong.
Yes.
And he pulls out the machine out of his bag and says, "Look, this is our proof. This is how we know that the story is true." But it probably should have led with that, to be honest, if they had the machine there. And Splodgy, he calls Glenda in and he says, "Glenda, come in here. We've got some work to do. I'm expelling all of you for being
on grounds that you told me a made-up story."
Yeah, I guess.
Because apparently he's very sensitive about the fact that he doesn't have hair.
Because he's quite old.
Here's the thing.
He's like a fatter snapper.
He's very upset that he's lost his hair, right? Later on, I guess no, he turns into something else. We'll get into that in a second. Because I was going to say that I thought he turned into a younger version of himself where he had hair, like lots of hair, like a 20-year-old. But then it's like, you are aware that means that you are going to lose that hair in 10 years' time. You're going to have to go through that process of watching your hair fall out again.
Yes.
And you hate that process.
Yes.
So you need to just come to terms with the fact that you don't have any hair.
So Splodge wants to be young.
Yes.
And so he goes, I'll think about this machine. The 4 students go and sit in the waiting room. And they're, "Oh no, what are we going to do? Parents are going to be so mad. We're children. We're scared of our parents."
Well, of course you are.
Then they hear the machine. And
that's
they're
the
like,
noise it makes.
No,
that's the noise it makes.
The machine has been activated. So they quickly run in the room, and what do they see?
They see a young, whatever her name is.
Glenda.
Glenda,
Glenda, by the way,
yes,
is probably the best name for somebody that works in the administration of a school office.
Pretty much. Glenda is spot on.
If you're applying for a role in a school office, I think the criteria are you a woman?
Yes.
Is your name Glenda?
Yes.
Yes or no? If yes, you have the job. If no, take a walk.
Yep.
Because we only take Glendas here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need one that can say, Glenda, can you get me a coffee? You know?
Yes.
Can't be like, Jackson, go get me a coffee.
No, well, Jackson would be allowed because he's a man.
Well, yeah, I mean...
You can only have
Jeffine,
Glendas, female Glendas.
Janine. Well, Janine might be okay, actually.
Maybe.
Has to be, can you get me a coffee worthy? If it doesn't sound like you could do that, like, Amy, can you get me a coffee? That's, come on. Amy can't get you a coffee. No. Amy's off doing bloody judging and stuff. She's being a judge.
Amy.
Yeah.
Amy.
She's judging Amy. Which I thought was a show. Is that a joke? The show, like, the name of the show is like, she's judging herself as well? Cause...
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Do we judge Amy?
Comment.
I don't know. My dad used to watch it apparently.
So they say, "Oh no, the machine's been activated," and Glenda says, "Oh, you might want to be careful because he's still a bit touchy about his lack of hair." And they go, "Oh, why's that?" And they glance over, and Splodgy Splodge is sitting there. Yes, thank you, Anthony. He's a baby, and he has no hair.
He's a baby with the entire knowledge of his life.
And because this emotionally affected Pete so much, his hair goes back to normal. To Eden.
To Eden. I think it's weird though, because the baby. What do you do with the baby? You're gonna make him old again?
Well, I assume they activate it and make him old again.
Weird.
Or none of this ever happened because I don't know if we ever see Splodge again.
We won't. Like, he's too expensive. But like,
how would you know he's too expensive?
Because Splodge is always expensive. And do you reckon one of the babies was probably like one of the cast members' kids or something?
Who?
The baby.
No, I don't know. They probably hired a baby.
It's just
on the black market.
Babies are expensive, right? And they're difficult to like work with because of like laws and shit to regulate like
child
stuff.
Slave.
Whereas like if you have like if you have your own baby, it's like, well, put your baby in there, like the director or something, and they'll do it for pretty much free because motherfucker, no, it's just, I need a baby for the scene. Oh, okay, I'll just grab this baby, boom, put him in there, just cry. Oh wow, you're a baby. That's what you normally do. Wonderful, Pete, start acting. I don't know how to do that. Wonderful, keep going with that.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's the end of the episode. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about in the episode?
I don't know. Just like, I hope that Tony learns to come to terms with his baldness. So it's alright, man.
I thought they were going with Tony would go 5 years younger or something.
I feel like, or maybe Tony and Faye would come to the realization that, you know...
Bronson hates them.
Well, I was going to say that Tony or Faye would say, look, I don't care... You know, I don't care how old or how young you are. You know, I like you for you or some shit. I don't care if you lose every hair. Not because you look like Leonardo or whatever. Whatever that song goes. Point is, we still have this issue that maybe we resolve later on in another episode.
Maybe.
It might be like, you know, this is a part of Tony's arc.
Maybe.
Very weird, but I want to see what happens with Bronson's story arc. There's clearly something happening here. Like, there's got to be something more to this in the future episode. If it turns out it's just got sneaky feet.
Sneaky feet?
Sneaky feet.
Is that a requirement to be a ninja?
Yeah, you would need to have sneaky feet to be a ninja, wouldn't you? But you couldn't be sneaky feet if you had smelly feet, because the smelly feet would give you away.
They're mutually exclusive qualities of feet.
I would imagine so, yes.
How many bowls of spaghetti would you give this episode?
How many bowls of spaghetti? I don't know, 6.
4.
4. You don't like this episode?
Yeah, not that really. I think there's a reason that I haven't seen it that many times.
Yeah, I liked it. It was alright. It had stuff going on, you know? Robbers were doing stuff. There's not enough Nell. That's the only critique I have for it right now.
Was there any Nell?
No Nell. So it might as well just be like, what's the point, you know?
What is the point?
You know, it's just smash goes Anthony's theories. Just lay them like shattered visages on the ground.
Exactly. If you're interested in learning more about our podcast, you can find us on our social media.
Yes, you can. Social media. It's on Facebook. We're on Tales from the Twist. That's what you want to go there. Look us up, Tales from the Twist. And also, subscribe to us on iTunes, because you got to listen to something while you drive to work, or not drive to work, or whatever. However you get to work. If you don't work, whatever, just drive somewhere. You need to listen to something, and you can't listen to morning radio because it's shit.
Just go for a drive.
Go for a drive. Take our podcast with you. It'll be fine.
Go to your local bakery.
Yeah, go support the bakery. You know, maybe I'm going to do that later. I love me some bakery goods. Do that. Also, we're on Twitter with Tales from the Twist. So it's TFT Twists.
TFT Twists.
Yeah, it's TFT Twists. That's right. And you can find us
Plural.
there. Plural. Remember the plural. Because we're twists. We're not a twist. Whatever. Done.
We're out.
We're out.
And that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a great week. We'll hear more from you. Well, we won't hear anything from you unless you contact on our social media. But you'll hear from us.
Yeah.
If you listen.
If you listen. Or if you don't, then whatever.
And you'll hear from each other if you...
Our friends?
Contact us on social media. And then we'll tell you what somebody else has sent to us on social media.
What?
If you contact us, we'll read out your messages.
That makes more sense. Jesus Christ. It sounded like we were being like a messenger service to someone else.
Well, we can do that if you want.
Can I send a message to Paul? Who's Paul? Paul, my mate from school. Hey, just send us a message. Can you tell him that I'm not going to be at school tomorrow? This doesn't go up till next week. Well, too bad.
It's a new internet which we all live in.
Yeah.
If you want to contact us to pass on a message, we will gratefully do that.
Yeah. Just don't expect us to call anyone on your behalf.
Well,
ain't gonna do that.
Why not?
So I'm not paying for that. I don't pay my money to pay for people's phone calls. Come on now, please.
That's all we have time for. My name is Finn Joe Lewis, and will continue to be so once the episode is finished.
And I'm Anthony Bull, and it might not be after it finishes.
It might change.
Might change.
Thank you for listening, and stay twisty.